Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 37 of Buds and Blue Jays. I'm your host, Jesse Burrell, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Riley McConnell. And Riley, the Jays, we needed a big series win here. It was tough. We had lost 3 series in a row. We really needed a statement series against the Red Sox, and we didn't get the sweep. We came awfully close, but we took 2 out of 3 against a very good Red Sox team, and honestly, the wins felt pretty good. The loss last night kind of sucked. I don't know. What are your thoughts after the series?
The series felt great, man. I mean, let's be honest. We had our 3 best starters take the hill. Everyone got a quality start. Our bats were going. And you know what? There's no overtime losses in baseball. That's kind of how I look at it. We don't get a point for it. I'm not a big fan of the, the ghost runner, whatever you want to call it. I never was. I know it's the same advantage both ways. Man, I still feel good about it. Taking 2 out of 3 against, a good Red Sox team that's been playing good baseball as of late. I'm good with it, dude.
Yeah, honestly. And after our first 2 wins, our very dramatic and emphatic wins too, I decided to make the trip up the 401 last night to go support the boys. I had to pick up my Alec Manoah design t-shirt, which I don't know if you can see, but you can kind of see it right there. I think it looks pretty swell. We got one, so I was pumped to get that. And let me tell you, the Blue Jays fans here, we're in mid-season form. Because in the 4th inning, after Alejandro Kirk got hit by that pitch and the benches cleared and the guys on the dugout ran out, the players were getting chippy. Us fans were getting chippy. We actually broke into an F the Red Sox chant, which the security guards and the ushers didn't like too much in our section. But we had a wild time. They were kicking people out left and right. So going from opening day when we saw that girl punch the police officer to what happens in this game, like us Jays fans, we're ready to go. And the players are into it as well, just like we are.
Hey, man, we all know going to a baseball game, the action is on the field, but the action, if it's not on the field, it's in the 500 section.
Oh,
man.
Yeah.
So it can be an absolute chaotic. It can be a chaotic zoo. So I'm totally not surprised at that. I know for a fact that, if it weren't for the 500s, that alcohol sales would be way down at Blue Jays games.
100%. That's where all the fun people hang out. They're in the flight deck, honestly. Well,
that's right, Jesse.
Yeah, coming off 3 straight series losses, our Blue Jays, like we said, needed a big win, and did we ever get it? Taking 2 out of 3, and we got the job done. Game 1, we got the FU game from Kevin Gausman. Jays won this game 7-2. We had home runs from Matt Chapman and George Springer. Game 2 was a wild one. Jays made a comeback, and they won that game 6-5 in the bottom of the 9th. Got off to a good start thanks to a Matt Chapman double. Ross Stripling gave us 5 good innings. Bullpen gave it up late, but Vladdy and Bo Bichette and Alejandro Kirk with a pinch hit single really helped make that run happen in the bottom of the 9th. Game 3, the one that happened yesterday, Jays lost that one 6-5 in 10 innings. Benches cleared early after Alejandro Kirk hit by pitch. Red Sox had answers for every single Jays run that we would score. David Phelps had some real trouble in the 10th, and our comeback effort fell just 1 run short. So after the series, Riley, the Jays stand at 42-33, 13 and a half games back of the Yankees, and we're in the second wild card spot, half a game behind the Red Sox and 1.5 up on the Rays. So lots to talk about on this series, Riley. Do you want to take the first one, or should I?
Well, I'll set it up for you, man.
Okay.
I'll set this one up. I will say last time you called this, that FU game, and you said 7 or 8 innings of double-digit strikeout ball. We had it, man. That was the FU game. Jesse, so spoiler alert, who's the first thumbs up, man?
It's you, Mr. Kevin Gausman. We sure needed that. This is what your high-price free agent is supposed to do. He's supposed to come in when your team is on a slide, take the team on his back and carry it and say, hey, I got you. I predicted 8 innings, 13 strikeouts. He only gave us 7 shutout with 10 strikeouts. I guess that will work just fine from Kevin Gausman. Game score of 79, according to Fangraphs, which is his best start of the year at a time we absolutely needed it. Season high, 110 pitches. That's ace-like stuff from Kevin Gausman, and we're going to need to see more of that going forward. Great to see.
This was a recovery start for him. This is going to be a streak and a string of starts that's going to start the ball rolling for the rest of the year. This is where we get our ace. This is where we get our ace, Kevin Gausman. He's about to make the bucks. He's had his bad starts. I think this is a sign of things to come, man.
Yeah, from the pitching mound to the batter's box, Riley, where are you going for your first thumbs up?
Well, to the batter's box, let's talk about a guy who is in the batter's box, but I don't know if he knows what a strike zone is in this series. That's my guy, Matt Chapman.
Yes.
For those who didn't actually watch this game, Matt Chapman had 2 big hits in games 1 and 2. I would say very key in both those wins. Had a home run and a double, and both the pitches were, I would say, probably right here on his shoulder.
Yep.
which are hard balls to get around to. And I've seen him, take his walks and even, swing and miss at pitches low, but seems to be hot at hitting those pitches high, which is good to see, man. And if he could turn on those and hit them, that's awesome. Definitely gets a thumbs up, man. I think he drove in 4 runs in the series, big part of both those wins in games 1 and 2.
Yeah, early in the year, pitchers were trying to throw up and in on Matt Chapman to try to get him to swing through it. And it seems like he's just made the adjustment. He's crushing those pitches now. So until pitchers make the adjustments back, I'm looking forward to seeing Matt Chapman drive those pitches and get them through. I will also say Matt Chapman hit 2 more deep fly balls that both got caught at the warning track. So Mr. Warning Track is still here, still doing his things, but it's coming. Big second half for Matt Chapman. I believe it to my soul. Another guy who I think is going to have a big second half and a guy who's been quite well for us so far this season is Mr. George Springer. He's been our leader, man. He's been pretty much exactly what we've wanted him to do so far, and he was good again in this series. Coming back from his injury that had him kind of struggle a little bit during that road trip, he's back. He had a hit and a walk in every single game this series, including 2 home runs, and he was making some great plays in the outfield too. He's now up to 15 home runs on the season. He's doing exactly what we need, and he's giving us this leadership qualities. He was the one holding Vladdy back when he tried to fight Nick Pivetta when he was coming out on the mound. So great stuff from George Springer. Again, I don't know where this team would be without him. Thank God he's healthy, knock on wood, and he's playing still. And yeah, thumbs up for me.
Definitely, dude. We know what our team doesn't do with Springer, and that's, we saw the stat from 2020 or whenever it was. We need Springer in order to win ball games. And taking on that leadership role, I mean, he's a veteran dude. You just expect things like that. Yeah, Vladdy was heated. I mean, that's the right move for Springer. Let's not get Vlad kicked out of this ball game. Let's keep him in the ball game. That's a good, smart move by George Springer. A walk and a hit, it seems almost every time he comes up to the plate. Everything you want from him in the league, and amazing defense too, man. Great catches.
Yeah,
there.
That's been the big thing too. And I want to give another mini thumbs up here to Raimel Tapia. I know he's not getting an official one, but we bash this guy a lot. And every single lineup the Jays put together that don't have both Gabby Moreno and Alejandro Kirk in it, it either means Kevin Biggio or Raimel Tapia is going to be in the lineup. And Tapia's kind of held his own here. He had a streak where he had hits in 11 out of 12 games, and he's made some really nice catches in this series. He had a clutch game-tying double in the 8th in Game 3. So Tapia's, hey, he's filling in now as a role player on his team. And hey, you know what? I got to give him credit for that.
I don't hate seeing him every, 4 or 5 days. He's a good depth piece so far. We just want him to play like he did in this Red Sox series. I mean, we see a lot of offers. I mean, he's got plus speed. His defense is, I say, above average for the most part. Like he's a good tool for us. But as far as his plate appearances go, it's nice to see the extra base power. And you know what? There's not much you could say about Raimel Tapia. I mean, it's nice when your platoon players can get hits for you and get big hits for you.
It really helps this team win games like we almost did in that last game there. From the positives to the negatives, Riley, and this bullpen sure really needs some help, eh? We struggled mightily in this one. I'm going to give our first one to David Phelps, and sheesh, let me tell you, that was tough to watch. Phelps has actually been pretty good for the year. He's been one of our high leverage guys and has been really good mostly, but this one was a tough one. Came into the top of the 10th with the zombie runner on and could not get an out. He went walk, and then had JD Martinez 0-2. And then hit him by a pitch, and then the run scored, and the Jays fell behind. And it didn't look good either when I was at the game. He was wandering back and forth on the pitcher's mound a lot. He went to the rosin bag after every second pitch, it seemed like. So I don't know if he was having a grip issue with the balls we've heard him complain about, or maybe he's battling an injury, or just maybe it's something in the wrong headspace. I don't know. But David Phelps did not look, even from the beginning, like he was ready to go in this game today. And it cost us the game in this one. So tough to see from David Phelps.
David Phelps, he's definitely not a high leverage guy. We know that. I mean, had we not used a few of our arms in games 1 and 2, I feel like we would have had a different guy come in for the 10th inning. That's baseball, man. It was, I don't know if it was the wrong call. I don't think Phelps was up to it anyways. He either wasn't in the game or something was off. We know that. I mean, body language says a lot. And when you're the only one holding the ball on the pitcher's mound and the whole game is centered around you, it really puts the spotlight on you. And he definitely shied away from the spotlight. In fact, there was no spotlight at all. It was a pretty dark room.
Yeah, I will say this really feels like we are really missing Jimmy Garcia quite a bit now, who's on the 15-day IL. And yeah, he's had his blow-up spots too, but he's also been pretty good for most of the season. And this would have been the spot you probably would have seen Jimmy Garcia in the game. And because of that, in game 2, not having Garcia, we had to rely on Trent Thornton in late with the lead in the 7th inning, and Trent Thornton couldn't do it either. He came in to pitch the 7th after Ross Stripling was pulled after 5 and only 80 pitches. Adam Simber worked a clean 6, and Trent Thornton came in high leverage, and yeah, it did not work. Only got 2 outs. He gave up a walk. He gave up a home run. Luckily, the Jays were able to make a comeback in this game, so the sting by Trent Thornton doesn't work too bad. But again, it just goes to show, if Trent Thornton is pitching for you in high leverage, like something is wrong, right? That can't be happening.
We definitely need help in the back end of our bullpen. There is no question about that, Jesse. I mean, it's something, dude, even in the past, I mean, we're going back to the BJ Ryan days, Jeremy Accardo. We've had a shaky bullpen forever, man. It's just been that way. That's Blue Jay baseball, I guess. It's just, if anyone's going to lose this game, it's not going to be the starter. It'll be the bullpen that'll blow it.
Yeah, I saw something on Twitter. Since Ross Atkins has taken over as GM, the Blue Jays have only given out 2 contracts to relievers worth more than 1 year. One of them was for Jimmy Garcia this past offseason and got a 2-year deal. Can you name the other reliever the Blue Jays that gave a multi-year contract to since Ross Atkins took over?
And it's not Jordan Romano?
No, because he's still in arbitration. It's going to be a tough one.
Holy cow, give me a second. It wouldn't be Simber. It would probably be someone that's not even there, right?
Yeah. Okay. It's Shun Yamaguchi, who we gave a 2-year contract to out of Japan, who we saw how that worked, and that didn't work out well either. So those are the only relievers the Blue Jays assigned to multi-year deals. So no wonder the Blue Jays bullpen has been struggling. You try to get all these flyers on 1-year guys, and some of them have hit, some of them haven't.
Most of them haven't.
Yeah. So Riley, I've got a ton of news and notes to get into here, but before we go, what pumped you up more in this series? Was it Kevin Gausman after his 7th inning, after he's leaving after 7 shutout, and he's screaming, "Let's effing go! Like, let's get out of here"? Or was it Vladdy after his walk-up single, pounding his chest, covered in the Gatorade, screaming, "This is our house," after we got the walk-off win? Which one of those 2 moments hyped you up more?
You know, it's got to be the Vladdy one, man. I mean, Vladdy needed that. Gausman needed that too, but I feel like Vladdy needed that more, dude. I mean, as much as a great pitcher as Gausman is, that's our franchise player right there. Yeah. And for him to get pumped up, saying this is our house, that's his ballpark, man. I mean, they call the old Yankee Stadium the house that Ruth built. If they made a new Jays ballpark, it'd be the house that Vlad Jr. built, right?
Love
so him
that,
saying that, it's awesome. It gets you pumped up, man. Like, you love to see young guys get involved in the game like that. Actually, take that back. The young guys in baseball right now are more into the game. It's amazing. They sell the game so well. Vlad is one of those guys. He is just a high energy guy, a cool guy, and obviously he loves what he does, man. He's a hell of a ball player, right? Like one of the best in the league.
Well, while we're on the topic of Vladimir Guerrero Jr., let's talk about this. He was asked by reporters if he was going to compete in the home run derby again this year, something he's won in the past and has done quite well. Vladdy said no, citing that he had a wrist injury for a good part of the year and doesn't want to make it worse, which a wrist injury seems pretty bad. And I could kind of explain why he's been hitting ball on the ground so much and why he hasn't had exactly the same power output that he's had in years past. I've also noticed Vladdy has been being a designated hitter quite a bit this year, especially more than a 23-year-old first baseman should. So, like, Bo Bichette's playing out there every day at a more demanding position, a shortstop. And so I do think Vladdy is really dealing with some type of injury here. And yeah, it's not serious enough to take him out of the lineup and stuff all the time. But if he's got a DH quite a bit, I don't know. It seems like it's something. Riley, on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you about Vladdy's wrist injury here?
3. Because he doesn't play a huge role defensively. I don't think first base is a role that, you know, a lot of guys can play it, whether it be your throwing or your catching arm. If it's on his throwing arm, that means it's his top hand on his bat. I assume and that might be turning over, you know, lazy top hand, whatever. I mean, there's a lot of things. Vlad's mechanics, he has a very strong and powerful swing. So
yes,
if he's to knock something out of place there, it wouldn't be surprised me because he hits with such force. But he does play one of the, if not the least physically demanding positions of 9. So, I'm not too concerned, right? I mean, it's not going to be aggravated defensively unless, something really goes wrong. And I sure as heck don't want him to, screw it up while he's at the plate. I mean, if it's something that he needs to be taken out of the lineup, hopefully it's very, very, very short term, like a good night's sleep will fix it, because this team can't afford to take him out, man. But my concern as of right now, when you ask me that, is still a 3.
Okay. He did say, and I quote, "The wrist is something I'm probably going to have to deal with or something I'm going to have to manage with for the rest of my career." So that seems scary. I don't know. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's everything. Who knows? But I'm with you.
I mean, Jim Johnson, I think it was his name. He pitched for the Tigers. He had an insulin pump. Jim Abbott pitched with one freaking hand, one arm. Like, if they can do that as a pitcher, Vladdy can get through with a wrist as a first baseman. Are you kidding me?
All right. Love it. All right. Let's go. I'm kind of with you too. Not much of a concern yet, but maybe something to watch for going forward. So Riley, at the end of our episode on Sunday, you were pleading, you know what? You wanted to wake up the next morning. You wanted to see the Blue Jays make some moves because the Jays had to do something. And Riley, they listened to you. The Jays did something. You know what that something was?
Yeah, we traveled back in time and went to 2013, Jesse.
And we signed 39-year-old right-handed pitcher Sergio Romo to a 1-year deal. And man, Romo has not been good this year. He's only pitched 14 innings. He's given up 6 home runs in those 30 innings. He's 39 years old and he throws 85 miles per hour. So I have some theories of what the Jays are going to try to do with Romo, but I'll let you take the first word here. What do you think are we getting with Sergio Romo?
Well, I love it. When you think of Romo, I think of that celebration where he's pounding his chest and going like this after the Giants win the World Series. That's prime Sergio Romo, and that's for a good Giants team that won a lot of postseason baseball games. Mm-hmm. Jays fans, just to enlighten you, that's not the same guy that we're getting for this ball club. I had no idea he threw as slow as 85. I feel like that's a meatball. Jesse could hit that about 410 feet. I could hit it about 380.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, I mean, a mop-up roll perhaps, like just an arm to have, like just someone to have extra in the pen.
So the Jays needed to acquire more swing and miss. We've talked about it. We have Trent Thornton pitching in high leverage, for goodness sake. Sergio Romo's not going to be that guy. But the Blue Jays have had a lot of success with Adam Cimber, and Sergio Romo's repertoire as of now is kind of similar to what Adam Cimber has been doing. So I'm curious, maybe they're going to try to tweak with Sergio Romo's mechanics a little bit, maybe move him to the third base side of the rubber. And Adam Cimber has really had success throwing that slider from his low arm slot up in the zone. So I'm curious if maybe Pete Walker here is going to look and try to do something similar with Sergio Romo and kind of turn him into that little sidearm weapon and something kind of like Adam Cimber. I don't know. It's something I'm interested in. I want to see. I think it's not an accident Sergio Romo didn't pitch in either of the 2 games he was eligible to pitch for, and he'll probably see him in this next series against the Rays. But that's what I'm going to try to watch. If you can find footage of his time in this season in Seattle and his time here now, I bet you the Blue Jays are doing some work with Romo to try to get something out of him here.
If we can tinker with Sergio Romo, Jesse, and kind of tool him to what maybe Pete Walker thinks he should be, and we can get innings at him. That's what we need. I don't know if we'll call him an innings eater at this point, but someone who's going to save some arms for another day is kind of what I look at him as, and that's fine. If he comes here, it is something at age 39. That will be miraculous. For what I see this guy being, though, is definitely going to eat some innings for us. It takes some weight off the other guy's shoulders, like Cimber, like Garcia when he's healthy, and that's a good thing.
I think absolute worst case scenario for Sergio Romo too is he kind of is what Brad Hands last year. The Jays give him a run for 2 weeks. He's terrible. He's DFA'd. Maybe he costs us a game or 2, but that's probably as bad as it's going to be. So it's worth a chance, right, to see if he can turn into something.
I think he'll be better than Brad Hand. That's just my guess on how this experiment goes. Is he is better than Brad Hand? As to how much better, you'll have to wait and see.
I guess so. Well, a little more news and notes here. In game 2 of the series, the Jays, as we talked about, we were down by 1 in the 9th and made a comeback win. And we talked about last episode how the Jays were 0 for 35 when they were down by 1 in the 9th. Alejandro Kirk just said, screw it, I'm breaking that streak. And as soon as he got the hit, Jays were on, comeback was on, everything was great. Loved that. Sergio Romo, too, was the first man out of the bullpen when the bullpens rushed onto the field after Kirk got hit by a pitch. So Sergio Romo is already here. He's probably pulling like brass knuckles out of that beard of his or something. He's ready to fight someone. So he's already making a good imprint on his team. So he seems like a good dude, just a chilled guy. And something to root forward to as well, going back to Sergio Romo there. Buck Martinez has officially done his cancer treatment, and now it seems like he's just going to need a few weeks of rest, and he should be back shortly after the All-Star break. And Riley, let me tell you, I'm so excited to hear that very first get up ball and gone, because it's going to hit different this year, hearing it from Buck Martinez, and I can't wait for that. As
for our news and notes, Jesse, that is awfully wonderful to hear. I haven't read it on Twitter, and I'm kind of cheesed that you waited this long to tell me in the episode. That makes me feel really good. I've been rooting for Buck this entire time, man. I love the guy. He's an exceptional man, and probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Blue Jays family member outside of the team itself, the players and managers, coaches, whatever. That's awesome, man. I mean, Buck, but I assume you're listening to this. If you're a Jays fan, you know who Buck Martinez is. He's iconic as far as I'm concerned. I can't wait till he gets back, man, and I hope he returns so healthy and so strong.
Me too. Hitting coach Guerrero Martinez has officially served his 5-game suspension, and he is back on the bench with the team. In order to make room for Sergio Romo, Sean Anderson is back to Buffalo, and Tyler Saucedo has been transferred to the 60-day IL. Nate Pearson is being shut down for 3 to 4 weeks before he begins throwing again. And let me tell you, that's before he's even going to start playing catch. So you got to assume, another 2 to 3 weeks to get a rehab assignment in and get a bunch more. I'm just saying it's another lost season for Nate Pearson, and that kind of sucks. Trevor Richards threw a live bullpen session of 21 pitches. Danny Jansen is likely going to need a rehab assignment before joining the team, but that date is still to be determined. And Jimmy Garcia is still shut down, hasn't started throwing yet. He will be reevaluated next week. So, Riley, any major takeaways there? If you're still here. All right. Well, my big takeaway there is Nate Pearson.
I am still here, Jesse. Sorry.
Take it away.
Yeah, Nate Pearson, man. I think for a lot of things right now, a lot of sticks out at me. Pearson it might be close to, if this happens again, it might almost be the end of his career. As far as what we think it could be. I mean, he could still pitch. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, he's just aging with every year that goes by. And if this is a wasted year, like next year, he's got to come back and basically turn into like a rotation arm right away, or he's not going to have any contract leverage or anything like that later down the road. And it kind of sucks, Jesse. I know you're a big fan, and the sky was the ceiling with him, but I mean, he just couldn't catch a break, man. And he's still losing out, and that sucks, man. A lot of injuries, man. I really can't wait for Jansen to come back. Let's be honest. I mean, I think he's third in DH voting right now, which
is hilarious.
We're on there voting. We're just trolling the internet. I mean, which is amazing. And I just can't wait till he gets back. Garcia, it would be great to have him back too, man. It's just 162 games. There's going to be injuries, dude. We knew that coming into this year, it was going to be like that.
Yep. Still got a few more notes here. Yusei Kikuchi is still scheduled to make his start on Thursday. So tonight against the Tampa Bay Rays. Ross Atkins was asked about Yusei Kikuchi and the performance he had put up lately and what his thoughts are on him. And he said, if I can find it here, I just had it somewhere. I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was something along the lines of, he's been struggling, but we still believe the work ethic is still there. It was something along the lines of that for Yusei Kikuchi. So a vote of confidence from the general manager on Kikuchi. Let's hope he has a good start here tonight. It seems like either Thomas Hatch or Maximo Castillo is likely to get a start on Saturday in the doubleheader against the Rays. And the Blue Jays will honor fan favorite and former Blue Jay Russell Martin as he will be throwing up the first pitch on Canada Day this weekend. So that'll make a lot of Jays fans happy. I know you and I really liked Russell Martin, so good for him.
I love everything about this series coming up, Jesse. It's a big one. And I also want to say that I know we'll be wearing our Reds. I don't know for both games, the doubleheader, the game tomorrow too. Like, I don't know how that's going to work. Tomorrow being Canada Day. So in advance, happy Canada Day, everybody. But again, it's just, we don't play good in the Reds. I don't think it's superstition, but I also think we do better with good pitching on the hill. That jersey behind you, I'm coming over and burning it if it's another crappy start. I'll do it, man. We need it. I don't know. I have Maximo Castillo one hand and Thomas Hatch in the other. You could pretty much put him behind my back and pick a hand, Jesse. To me, it's a game where I hope we score 7 or 8 runs in.
I hope so, man. I need Kikuchi to turn it around and be good here so badly. And I hope it happens here. Man, let's go. Nick Frasso, who's a Blue Jays prospect, is moving up in the system. He has a 0.30 ERA and a 43% K rate in 7 starts for Dunedin. Remember when Dunedin had that 22 strikeouts a game? Well, Nick Frasso started that game, had a ton of them. He'll be filling up Ricky Tiedeman's spot in Vancouver, who has moved up in things as well. So some good pitching prospects in the Jays system there. And trade season, Riley, is heating up for the Blue Jays. And it seems like now the front office has started to kind of shift their language when they start talking about stuff. A report came out this weekend that the Blue Jays might have interest in Andrew Benintendi. Now, this might be just John Paul Morosi just saying the obvious, which he does that a lot, but it was interesting. We've talked about how the Royals do have some interesting bullpen arms that the Jays could try to look for get. And Ross Atkins was asked about the potential of trading one of our 3 young catchers in Kirk, Jansen, or Moreno, because the Blue Jays have a strength of depth and it's a position we can deal from. And he said, quote, "There's not as much interest as you'd think because of the response we give when teams ask. We value all 3 of our catchers very much, probably a lot more than the general public does." So that either means 2 things, Riley. That either means the Jays are trying to build even more value to make teams overpay for Gabriel Moreno or for Danny Jansen, or it just sounds like these guys aren't getting moved at all and the Jays are going to run with 3.
My thought is for the rest of the year, we roll with 3 catchers, and in the offseason, 1 would be potentially moved. I think it's important because Jansen's been hurt a lot, and we don't know how the rest of the year is going to go out for him. I want to finish this year with the 3 guys we have and then make moves in the offseason. I think moves can be made elsewhere, Jesse, unless we're really strapped for players for a trade or something like that. This is leverage we have on other teams, man. And I think it's a good thing, and we don't get rid of this. I know it, like, you could speculate. Everyone has their own opinion on this, man. But I said this: don't trade any catchers, and then Jansen gets hurt, and until he comes back, we're definitely not moving anybody. Mm-hmm. And I sure hope that they don't decide to move Moreno even after that. He's still young. I still want to see what happens, at least for this year.
Yeah, I really like what I've seen from Gabriel Moreno. I think the hype is real. We haven't seen much power from him yet, but he's done some really good stuff. So I want to see more of it from Gabby Moreno. So Riley, that's the main part. We have to preview the upcoming series against the Rays now. But man, how are you feeling? Because I'm going to take a temperature check. After the series against the Brewers, we did not feel very good. We did play well. We took 2 out of 3 against the Red Sox, but the Rays are a game and a half behind us. So we're playing 5 games in 72 hours because of the lockout canceled the first 6 games of the year. So we had to throw that doubleheader in there. This is a rare 5-game series, Riley, that the Blue Jays don't really play. So how are you feeling? You nervous, excited, confident? What's the move?
You could say all 3, to be honest with you. I'm very excited because it's Canada Day. Yes. And we're playing at home. I love that. I'm confident because we have some of the best hitters in baseball, some of the best young players in baseball. And I'm nervous, man. It's Tampa. It's Tampa. It's a team that's like right on our heels. Like, they might even be stepping on our heels right now. Great American League East team, man. Like, I feel a lot of different emotions coming into this, man. It's a must-win series for us. Anything short of, winning this series is a complete failure. It really is. 5 games in a series. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs. We've hosted whole episodes after 2-game series before. Now after 5, man, we're going to have a lot of storylines to go for. Probable pitchers. Now, these might change because the doubleheader can kind of screw things, but here's how it kind of shapes up as of now. Tonight's going to be Yusei Kikuchi against Corey Kluber. Tomorrow will be Jose Barrios against Shane McClanahan, who might win the Cy Young Award, so he's been dynamite. Game 3, it's either going to be Kevin Gausman against Drew Rasmussen in Game 1, or Game 1 will be Maximo Castillo or Thomas Hatch, whoever starts that game against Luis Patino. They might switch, but either way, both are going to pitch that day. And then Game 5 is going to be Ross Stripling against Shane Baz. So a lot going on in that series there. What are you looking forward to seeing? Really looking forward to seeing fans in the ballpark on Canada Day and fans in the ballpark on a doubleheader. It's going to be a great atmosphere, man. I don't think I'm going to make any of them, which sucks, but I will definitely be viewing. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to hitting off these guys and bash them in. It's going to be tough, though. The Rays have probably the best young pitchers in all of MLB, and we need to exploit something of theirs that gives us the upper hand, man. Tampa is one of the peskiest teams, but Toronto's just by force alone the best power team in the league, or one of the best power teams. I'd love to see another good outing. Barrios, we need one, and the jersey behind you needs to perform at the best start. If Gausman had whatever his rating was, the best of the year, we need the same from Kikuchi, like the exact same, man. That's what needs to happen. As we said last episode, it's the biggest week of the year right now for baseball. Being a Blue Jays player, fan, coach, manager, doesn't matter, dude. This is huge. This is a huge series.
This can make or break. We win 4 out of these 5, we're laughing, we're cruising. We lose 4 out of the 5, or even worse, get swept, we're in trouble. So yeah, huge week. Jays better pull this off here. Riley, that'll do it for episode here today. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe the video. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot to say after this dramatic series against the Rays, so follow us along with Twitter. We'll be doing updates there, and yeah, we'll be back with another episode then. Riley, anything else to add before we get out here today?
No, we say a couple prayers. We hope that the series goes well, man. If you got nothing to do these next few days, on this beautiful long weekend that's coming up, watch this series or watch a couple games, a couple innings. You're going to catch some really good baseball, man. Don't think the players don't know the stakes right now, because the stakes are so high in the American League, and more importantly, the American League East, man. Let's go Blue Jays. Those are my final thoughts, Jesse. I mean, my heart's actually kind of racing talking about it, thinking about it, man. It's going to be tough. Hey, man, it's going to be tough. I do think we can pull it off, though, but we're going to have to be super sharp there, man.
It sure is. I'm nervous, but excited. We'll see. Happy Canada Day, everybody, and thanks for tuning in.
Happy Canada Day. Thanks, guys.